time I met Billy, I was 5 years old. I got up one morning, my mom was at the stove making breakfast, and I walked up to her and I looked up and I patted her on the stomach and I said, "Mom, you're getting fat." And she said, "No, I'm not getting fat, I'm pregnant, and we're gonna have a little brother or a little sister coming pretty soon." And I was so excited, and I hoped that it would be a boy, and sure enough, it was. When he was born, my dad picked us up and we went to the hospital. And in those days, you could not go into the hospital room. You couldn't even go into the lobby. They didn't allow it. So we stood out on the street. My mom opened up her window on the third floor of the hospital and we talked to her from there. And after a while, we were chatting back and forth, asking how she was, and she asked how we were, and I said, finally I got so frustrated, I said, "Mom, hold the baby out the window so we can see him." And she said, "No." But I know Billy wouldn't have cared. About a few years later, we were on a family vacation going to Yellowstone Park, packed in the car. My dad was driving, Mom in the front seat. I had shotgun. We had to share that as we went down the road, but I was lucky enough to be in that position. My brother Tom, my sister Beth, Billy was 3 years old, my grandmother all slammed into the back seat. We're going on the road. There's a car ahead of us. A skunk runs out in the road. The car hits it, kills it. It rolls underneath that car, and then immediately we sweep over the dead skunk. And within a minute, this car filled with this most pungent, strong odor of skunk. I mean, it just made your eyes tear. And all of a sudden, Billy's in the back seat, and he screams out, "Mom, something's wrong with my nose." A few years later, he's 5 years old. I'm babysitting. I'm about 11. My dad was working as a meat cutter. They bought a store. My mom was running that while he worked during the day. I was babysitting, and before she left the house, she said, "Make sure those boys clean up their room," my brother Tom and Billy. And so I had to help them do that. They had shared a room, and we were cleaning it, and he was climbing in the closet, pulling out stuff. He pulled out this little yachting cap. It was the kind of little cap that the skipper wore on Gilligan's Island, only he had had it when he was about 3 years old. And he pulled it out, and I said, "Billy, I think that hat's too small for you." "Oh, no, I'm going to put it on." So he tried, and he was pulling it down. Finally, it popped on his head, and it was like a steel band. He got it, I mean, it was so small. He got it on, and then he couldn't get it off. And it was just pressing on his head, and he starts to kick and to scream and to run around the house, and I'm following him around as he's screaming and rolling around the floor. I said, "Billy, let me help you, I can get it off." He ran into the bathroom and locked the door. And it was like two grown men in there fighting for their lives. And finally he opened up the door, and we finally got it off. And then he had this red band that he had to live with for about a week afterwards. That was one of the stories he didn't like me to tell. The last story was, he was in high school, a senior. I'm at college. I come home and I ask him how things are going. He said, "Oh yeah, it was kind of interesting the other night. I went out with some friends, and then I stopped at this little taco place, late night taco place, had a couple of tacos. He came home, family was asleep, he went to bed. About an hour later, there's a knock on the door. My dad goes to answer it. It's the police, and they want to see Billy Triplett. And so they have to go wake Billy up. He comes up, and he was fingered for stealing a gumball machine from the taco place. And I can understand why. If the last person you saw before the gumball machine was discovered missing, it was Billy, you might think it was him. But it wasn't. He talked his way out of it. But his version of the story to me was, yeah, I'm in my bed, all of a sudden bright lights are all around the house. The sheriff's out with the megaphone saying, Billy Triplett, come out with your, throw out the gumball machine and come out with your hands up. And Billy strolls up, walks out, opens up the front door, lights shining in his eyes, and he goes like this. What seems to be the problem, officer? Well, they were my favorite stories, and I love to tell them. When I talked with the people back in Wisconsin where he was, do you think there was love here? There's the same amount of love with all those people back there. They just came forward. They took care of everything over there. They established a scholarship in his name, an ongoing scholarship that they're going to fund people every single year from now on out. They love him so much. People donated money. They donated time. They did everything. They're going to have a big event in the end of October or the first couple of days of November, and they're going to do a memorial for him. And we're going to go back for that. But I just want you to know the same love, the same things that were said here were said by them. Melanie Jane was the person that actually